Hey YouTube, how's it going? Just another video here. I got out for a morning flight. Didn't realize at the time, but it would be the last morning flight for what I'm going to call Old Yeller. Old Yeller, my Minari paramotor there. It was really just an awesome morning flight. It makes me wonder, I've been debating myself whether I prefer morning flights or evening flights, and I think I've come to the conclusion the answer is yes. I like morning and evening flights. So any chance to get out, you can see I had a pretty uneventful low wind takeoff here, and first order of business was to get out and see if I could do a water foot drag out in an area here. So I've got to cut across some rice fields, get out to the rice fields. There's an end of the rice fields that where all the water kind of collects. And so we'll get out there. There it is there. You can see what's left of a little bit of water. We hadn't had enough rain lately, I guess, to keep that area full. So no water foot drags across that long stretch this morning, but lots of other sights to see. You see I'm going to get to the end of this over here. And just as I got to the end of where I would do the water foot drag, come up over the rise and spot a feral hog. Of course, actually flying out here, I see lots of them. But this particular guy, I got to kind of track him for a little while. Got up fairly close. Seeing these guys, I always have a couple different thoughts. One of them is, man, I don't want to motor out and have to contend with that sucker on the ground. I understand those guys can be pretty nasty, pretty mean, and turn on you. Hopefully he would flee. And then the other thought is, I've never hunted the hogs, but they're a nuisance to the farmers, and really just a pest, destroy a lot of cropland. And I always kind of wondered, I'm sure it's not legal. I haven't looked up. Is there any way? I know people hunt them from helicopters. They pay to do that. Wonder what the legality of doing anything from a paramotor would be. I don't think I'll ever find out, but this is just one I see. Some of the other flights I've seen, what do you call them, herds, or I don't know, I've seen groups of 40 or 50 of them at a time out flying, and gives you lots of ideas how you might help the farmers out. Anyway, head a little leave the hog alone, head a little further west out in some of the hay fields, and do a little hay bale slalom, cruising through there in the early morning hours. That's always just I don't think the video does it justice. It's just a lot of fun to kind of cruise around down here and just cycle back and forth and around the hay bales, the big round bales. One thing I need to pay a little more attention to, if you look at the video, it's kind of blurry. I'm pretty sure that's from me handling, getting, finger, handprint, grease, whatever, body oil on the lens and not cleaning it off, just being lazy and sloppy, because it's a kind of a hemispherical lens on my 360 camera, and so I didn't do a good job of cleaning or not messing up, I guess, when I'm setting it up and taking off. So much fun. Had to turn around instead of cruising with the sun at my back, and head back and do another pass through the hay bales, and it's just so much fun. Eventually I'm going to go explore a little more, but another pass through here. As I got through a couple different fields of big round bales, get to the end here, get to a field or a nice morning fog on the ground, and man, that's just what makes it spectacular. I think I'm going to pass an old windmill here next to a little pond. Not just in the morning when it's nice and quiet out and still air, it's just the best. That's when I'm doing this, I'm thinking, man, morning flights are the absolute best. Of course, when I'm out flying in the evening, I think the same thing, but it just doesn't get any better than cruising around with a light fog on the ground and being able to dip down in it and back up out of it, and just so much fun. Coming up here, I was thinking I was going to go right. I almost put myself into a bit of trouble. I was going to go right through the gap in the trees, and then at the last minute I decided, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go left. It's one of those things where indecision or changing my mind too late in the game. I didn't really come that close to the tree, but I got my own attention. I got attention to myself, thinking, man, I need to, have a plan and stick with it, as long as it's a good plan, and not be indecisive, something like that. But anyway, it wasn't that big a deal. But it's just one of those things where I was out, just enjoying the beauty of everything, and maybe got a little lazy there. And if the grass fields with the fog weren't enough, you got to go over and find a pond or a body of water here where you've got the fog coming off of it on the grass, and just cruise along again. It's just a stellar morning, a glorious flight, I'd say. One thing about these flights is you do got to get up, or for me, I got to get up and basically be ready to go at the break of dawn, or maybe 15 minutes before with my strobe or something. If you wait too long, you don't get just the awesome conditions, and the fog is lifted. So I've gone far enough west. It's time to head back and kind of aim back to the east, head towards my vehicle, my LZ. On the way, kind of cruise through this tree farm, I think it is. And tree farm is right on the edge of a couple polo fields. I'm definitely not a polo player or anything, but looks like they got a nice facility out here. Polo grounds looks like a pretty awesome place to do a little foot dragging, so had to get a little bit here on that. Of course, here's another example where I had to go get another pass on this polo field. It was just a lot of fun to cruise over it and check the place out. After the polo field, making my way back to my LZ, which is kind of out on the edge of where the city development is, suburban development, construction area. You can see a lot of the cleared land and the drainage ditches and systems they're building for the new communities. That's all I do so far over the past year of flying inland, is just move from one development site to another. The construction guys love to see us out there, give us big grins, and we can take off from there and head out away from the city. Eventually, time to come in for a landing, and still working on my spot landing practice. Keep the motor on just in case, but this is one where it came up a little shorter than I wanted. Not bad, but walk it out. Go ahead and walk the wing up, get it closer before we put it on the ground. But all in all, I was happy. Basically a flight or two after this in the evening is when I had my motor out and had to do an emergency landing in a relatively small area. It wasn't super tight, but happy with that. So didn't realize it, but this was here's my old Yeller. Got shipped off the frame and the cage to Chad at Mini Plane and Trike Buggy, and motor's gone off to Minari in Italy, and should be flying a new unit here in a week and a half, hopefully, after I publish this video. But this wasn't the last flight. It was I think this was the last full flight where I had a planned landing. But she served me well, but I guess it's time to move on. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Hopefully next video or so will be a new flight, or maybe I'll do some kind of break-in video or something of my what's coming. I've got a Moster Plus coming on a mini plane ABM frame. I think it's a Soup Air harness. Maybe I should save some of those details for the next video, but you guys have a good one.